Hello again, Steve here, and I wanted to talk at first about something I was going to call the alpha personality. And then sometimes when I do these videos, I get an idea, right? And then, well, of course I could just talk to myself about it, but then I say, "Hey, why don't I put it out there? Maybe there's two or three other people in the world who are interested in this sort of thing." Because I had a couple of really good conversations with people on the phone the last couple of days to do with the health of their organizations. I do a lot of that conversation with people and events and so on. And what we kind of agreed on, most of us, is that within any organization, there has to be people who stand out. People who stand out as you could almost use the cliche overachievers. Because the vast majority of people are followers rather than leaders. At least that's what it appears to be. And to that extent, we're not that much different as a society, as a group creature than, say, wolves. Within the wolf pack, there is a definite hierarchy, right? And the senior wolf sits up high and howls louder and so on. They call that the alpha male. I've also seen that in other organizations where if you have somebody who's very energetic, but not only energetic, but also is passionate about what they're doing and also is good at what they're doing, they have a modicum of intelligence and organization skills and so on, then you have a great success rate, or you can have the potential for a great success rate in that organization. And when I got to thinking about this, because one of the things that I've taken on this year as a side project, as an not as much an entertainment, it's more ongoing educational process for myself, is this role within a Toastmasters club, and also a leadership role in the greater network of clubs in our area. But in my club specifically, I've taken on this role called the Vice President of Membership. And at first, I thought it was a bit of a lowly role. Once I got into it, though, I realized it is the pinnacle of importance, you might say. I mean, every role within a club, every role within an organization has its value because it all depends on the next and so on. But if you were to sit down and honestly analyze what's really important, like you take a team, for example, a hockey team. Anybody who's been on a hockey team knows that there's certain leaders that people look to for guidance in terms of how the play is going to go on. You have a leader for every line. And without that, you're missing more than just the other guy. I hate to say it, but everybody has their, like there's the guy, another example would be there's the guy who builds a company, right? And that person hires the workers. Well, of course the workers are important, but he's the guy who actually started it, knows pretty much everything about it, the insides and outsides and so on. You cannot, an extreme example, you cannot compare his capability and his necessity to the organization versus the brand new hire who's sweeping the floor down there. That person can easily be replaced. Very difficult to replace that one who's started it and knows everything, has all the connections and so on. So there are definitely those within an organization that you could say are more important than others. I think anybody could agree with that. So when I was thinking about this, I realized, okay, within this organization, vice president of membership, there's also these other ones. There's president, education, there's public relations, which is marketing basically, all of these sorts of things. But what they always say, of course, in the club is that membership is the most important, and it's true. I mean, the club itself is a number on a banner on the wall. That's all it is, right? It's just an entity, a fictional entity, really. It's the members who are there. So the one who's taking care of or helping the members to be successful within their goals there, you could say has a very, very high level of importance, because if the membership is the most important, then the one looking after the membership, you could say, is very important. So I wanted to transfer this into how this works for the rest of the world, right? And what I came up with was a bit of an inverted well, it's not even a pyramid. Like we often have a pyramid, right, for an organizational structure. And at the top we often have like the president or the CEO, and then all of the branches go out to the various vice presidents and what have you, and then everything trickles down from there. Well, I drew it in somewhat different order because after thinking about this, about how important the membership is, I turned this into a business model, a little bit of a look. And I show it to you right here, the diagram that I drew. See, typically we have the CEO up on the top of a pyramid, right? And then everybody else stemming down from this. What I've done is I put the vice president of customer service up on the very top. And then I put on both sides, one side and the other side, I've put the marketing and, if I got these backwards, marketing and production, right? And then the CEO is at the very bottom. The CEO should be in service of everybody else, making sure that it's all tied together and it's working, right? So with that in mind, the customer, because we always say in business, right? Customer is always right. Customer is king. How do we get paid? We get paid by the customer indirectly, right? Because the customer pays the company and the company pays us. So we're always getting paid by the company, by the customer rather. Therefore, it's important to recognize customer service. And I think if that was elevated to the highest position, then the customer service's job is to make sure that marketing is done right, to reflect what it is, because the customer service is always trying to find out, what do customers want? What are their preferences? Is this product or service of high value to them, or can it be modified in some way? Can there be some innovation brought in? Is the delivery that we're doing, is it arriving in the right number of days? Is what they're understanding from the marketing what they're getting in reality? All of these things, that is the ongoing process, the ongoing learning process of the VP of customer service, constantly ongoing. So in whatever that department is finding out, that department is passing on to the marketing side. So the message, there's an old saying, message to market match. The customer service is constantly finding, because that's where the market is. The market is in the customers. So the vice president of customer service is constantly finding out then what it is that they want and passing that on to the marketing department, which is constantly then putting out that as a mirror. We have what you want, what you've told us you want. And of course, from the marketing department, you have that branching off into the sales department, which is the people who are actually going out writing the messages and whatever, but the marketing is the overall envelope. And then, of course, there has to be that connection eventually between the marketing going back up to here, saying, yes, we've got that connection that you're making. We're saying the right things. So now we got to make sure that the production, whatever it is that we're doing, and I don't mean necessarily widget production, but let's say somebody's got a hotel or an online store or whatever it is, to make sure that whatever is being put out by the marketing message is matched by the delivery of the product. And if that can all be achieved, then in reality, everybody's working inside of here. The whole company is a hive that's working inside of here, all intertwined by the watchful care and the fiduciary duty of the CEO, making sure that this is all being served by this message. It's all under this one umbrella. The whole marketing, customer care, and production, all working together under the fiduciary and the care of the CEO. Once again, this is not anything that I've researched. This is just something I've observed, and I find it works for me in my humble little beginnings here. I would encourage anybody to try this on, to elevate the importance of customer service to the very top, and to have that customer service be the threshold between what's being said and what's actually being produced, to make sure that there is connection, make sure that there's a similarity and actually a cohesive sameness between what's being said and what's being said. Here's what we have, here's what we have, here's what we have. Is that what we have? And that's where the customer care comes in. And the CEO, of course, has got to make sure that all this is working right. CEO's responsibility, of course, to make sure that the right person is in charge of that customer service, right? To make sure that the right VP of marketing is there, to make sure that the right VP of production is there, and to have constant ongoing meetings to make sure that the team, the actual people who get things done on the floor and in the field and whatnot, are working in accordance with what has been found out here and what is put into production here and messaging here. It's just a simple little diagram, but hopefully it's helpful. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. And comment as well. I might have said comment already, but please comment. Steve here again, great chatting. And hopefully this is helpful. Talk again soon. Bye for now.